Today, I am honored to have Daresh Shawarma here with me again. He is a cloud strategy and AI automation leader.
Hello, everyone. I can't see anyone in the chat, so I'll just, wave to Margaret and speak with you guys through her.
Daresh is an engineer leader with over 19 years of experience in cloud systems design.
So I build AI systems as well as I work in a corporate job with the cloud as my forte. I've been into management and roles as well, but now fairly technical. So I've been like growing this Substack over the past 6 months, or maybe now 7.5 months. And today I wanted to share like whatever automations that I have built, so that people can leverage the tasks that I use AI to do the grunt work that is there, the things that I generally don't want to spend manual effort with. I think like that's what Margaret you wanted to talk about, that how do I kind as a solo operator, how I operate my Substack, what systems do I have in place, and along with that, you are already aware about that there is this Subflow AI which I launched as a Chrome extension. So how do I leverage that, and how do people can use Claude or ChatGPT or Codex or Claude Code, any MCP compliant app to build these kinds of automation that I have been running, and leverage and grow in Substack.
Yes, I appreciate that because as we know, we have to do more with less nowadays. And
Hmm.
so being able to automate Substack, then we can focus on other tasks that we need to do.
Right, right, right. So I mean, like I would say that what I generally follow, because of the full-time job and lack of time. On the other side, I see to AI and see that okay, if AI can help me out with one or the other task, that does not mean that you blindly start automating each and everything, right? You need to
Right.
see, acknowledge what kind of automation would help you out. Example, like I'm not good at analytics, right? So I do not um, get well with the numbers and make relations with the numbers, where Claude can help me out, right? Or ChatGPT can help me out, and have that weakness of mine turn into strength and guide me with things that I understand, right? In plain, simple English. So that is something that I would try to automate rather than like figuring out myself without any reason, right? And because that's AI is there to help me out with that aspect. There are other things as well, for example, notes creation or like analysis of the articles, or I would say like seeing which replies these days are worth my time in order to reply to those people, or whether they are like bot generated comments, so that I can just like them and move on, right? These are some of the things that I would like AI to do for me. If I want to publish some sort of a social proof, like a milestone, right? And there are like milestones that keep on coming in any kind of content creator journey. There would be some feedback, testimonials, right? So all that, if you can automate that aspect, mean why not you automate that, right? Where there is actually a human connection, where I want to communicate over a direct message, when there is a connection that has been established and you have proven that behind the scene there is a human interacting with you to an extent, right? I mean, these days it's so I mean, sometimes it gets difficult still to judge whether there is a human behind it or not, but still you'll try to create a connection. So that part I would like to keep it to myself. The overall blueprint, the architecture of my article, what I would write, right? AI will tell me like these are the 10 things that you can write next week. Whether I want to write it or not, I mean, that's my judgment. So those are the things that I would try to keep it to myself, and then like rest of the things I try to automate to maximum extent possible compared to the ROI that particular task would give back to me. For example, notes generation. Of course, notes are good. They are about almost 25% of my entire Substack growth. So I would see like which notes are performing, try to adapt to that. If I can automate this kind of a process where it is learning from past couple of weeks notes, try to give me formats that I should be writing for the next 2 weeks, why not? Like I would try to leverage that kind of automation definitely, right? That does not mean I'm blindly writing those notes. I'm like definitely going through some sort of process that I have in place that goes through my existing content, and I want to repeat those lessons that I teach in the articles that I'm publishing, videos I'm posting, courses I'm publishing. I want those lessons to be like, or a micro lesson to be kind of communicated through notes. Some notes are very very generic, those work. So I mean those kinds of things I would definitely try to see and think that okay, how do I automate that aspect of it, right? So I mean the first question generally when I approach people that hey, do you need some sort of automation in Substack? I mean world is full of automation, we don't need it, right? But at the end of the day, you are learning AI to create an automation, right? So I mean there is no I feel that you need to embrace it rather than like just have an opinion or a negative opinion around it. Of course, you need to be mindful what needs to be automated and what not, what should not be automated. And yeah, I mean, like it or not like it, that's how the world is moving towards.
Exactly. We're to the next revolution. We had the industrial revolution and all of these other things, and we eventually, now we are in the age AI.
Yep, yep. So what I'll do is I'll show you like what my system is, everyone, right? Right. So yeah, I mean, when I talk about Substack, right, I look at Substack in these 6 lanes. Every day, every week, we have to juggle through these kinds of 6 lanes. Like you have to publish your newsletter. That means you have to think about what should be the next paid article. If you are like, if you have opened a paid tier, what should be the free article that would go? I try to publish like couple of newsletters or, articles every week at least, right? And then like I have to post notes daily. I have to reply to my, kind of like the activity thread that is going on. I have to reply to the notification. DMs have to be on top of it. I need to restack, reshare because it's a community. So you need to like give back to the community if you're liking something better, like, reshare, restack. Again, know what is working, right? This is all about the analytics where I'm very weak, right? I'm weak with the numbers, so I would try to have the analytics done by AI, and I mean, AI tell me that hey, this is what is working, this is not what is working. I compared these numbers together, and you need to be doing this thing next week, next month, next 2 months, whatever that window is, right? I try to keep it to 2 weeks, so every 2 weeks I try to experiment, and that's how like the agent works. So I see myself as a substacker handling these 6 jobs differently every day or every other day, right? So what are the pieces that I can automate with the help of, with the help of AI and the aspects of it, right? It's not just the publishing of the newsletter, it is like editing, the maintaining the existing article as well, right? Right now I have about 100 articles. So how do I maintain them? How do I edit them? How do I keep them up to date? If I have to like put a table of content, how do I do that? So all those things matter, right? I mean, and that eats your time, and some of those things are purely grunt work that you can basically delegate to someone. Like if in the old days when the AI was not there, generally people would delegate it to somebody like a VA they would hire, right? They would have the SOPs created. Those old systems which were created in the form of like Confluence pages or wiki pages, you would share with your VA, and VA would be working on behalf of you, right? That's how like solopreneurs or solo founders were working in the previous days. Now with AI, some of that work Now you are, instead of delegating to a VA, you are delegating to AI, so that you can save over there, and maybe with the human judgment you are still delegating some of the pieces to the VA. So that's how I see it. I see it through that lens, that some of the work that you used to delegate to VA or a junior resource in your organization, that is being shifted to AI, but you are still keeping the judgment, the taste, the overall vision, the architecture, the blueprint that you are designing to yourself, right? And these are the 6 lanes that I see, right? Now, just by taking one example, if you do the math, if I post 5 notes a day, that's more like 150 notes I have to post in a month. And that's how you keep it with the overall timeline. If you're sleeping, you still have to publish. You can have some sort of automations, like the entire Subflow AI, which is the extension that I created for myself, because I was struggling. I am a big fan of batching, right? So I would batch a lot of content. Like if I have to write couple of articles, I will write couple of articles in one shift. Similarly, if I have to write notes, I would try to prefer like block 1 hour, and then write the whole notes for the entire week, right? But then the problem was, in the earlier days there was no schedule button in Substack. So because I knew how to build system, I created my own extension, which I called Subflow AI, started using it, and publish it to everyone else as well, so that others can use it, and slowly started becoming a product, right? And that's what, for example, this is like how it looks. So you can schedule notes over here, you can see your calendar, what's working, I mean, like how you are scheduling notes, how many notes you are scheduling, all that. It gets now synced. There is an AI studio as well, where you can click on your recently created or all your posts. So all my posts are over here. I can quickly generate variations from the existing post, and I can quickly schedule them with the help of the batching over here. You can schedule about maybe months, couple of months of notes as well if you want to, right? So all this was still more or less click, like I call it click ops, right? So now 7 notes are there. I can generate more variations. I can randomize. I can have my own brand voice into it, so that it is not generating generic notes from AI voice. Once I do that, I can schedule them in different slots. But you can see that I'm still doing a lot of click operations over here. It resolved, or it shrink the time of that batching that I used to do earlier, and help me schedule in a batch, so that I'm not worried whether I have to post every day or not. Even if I am on vacation, it will still continue to run, right? It solved that kind of problem, but it still did not solve. So still I have to come over here. So for example, today we are here. I was on vacation last week. All these 2 days missed, right? So now I would see that 14, 15 is empty, and then all rest of my calendar is empty. I have to go back and schedule. So I have to remember all this, right? How about I create an agent that does this for me? So every day that agent is running and doing that job. But you do it if you have an established system in place. You know that how you are creating those notes. If you are creating the notes from the content that you are already publishing, and you have a prompt in place, whatever prompt you can, design, you have a standard way of creating notes. You can put that process and automate with the help of an MCP, right? So what I ended up doing is in order to solve this manual to copy paste to workflow based, like AI workflow based approach, I created a MCP server that basically helps you connect to your Substack, right? So what it would help you is, if you go to Substack, mcp.genaiunplug.com, right? There are 3 tiers into it. Like one is free, and a lot of people are on free tier and are able to do a lot of work, right? You just need to be a free subscriber to my publication, Chennai Unplugged, and you would be able to get all this as a free subscriber. If you want more advanced tool, you get a paid plugged in subscription, which is my paid subscription. And then if you are a Subflow AI user, you get all 3 of them, right? So I mean, but still, if you are just juggling with notes right now, for you are juggling with finalizing what type of table of contents I should publish, how can I batch edit all the articles from the past with table of contents, Can I do a live recap? So we are doing a right now kind of live, and if I want to recap it and publish it as a video right later on, I can generate a live recap out of it as a free user itself. There are end-to-end workflows. You can read and like your inbox or some of the notes that are there. So I mean, I know a lot of users who are just on the free tier and being able to leverage. The idea is like either you create your own MCP, and I will drop in the references as well that how you can create your own MCP of Substack, or you can like avail this one and be on this tier so that you can create some of the system. It has like guide for how you can connect. So there are two ways of connecting it. If you are a Subflow AI user, you connect the Subflow AI approach. Otherwise, you use the regular approach of how to connect Claude Code or Claude app to this Substack MCP and start using it. The only thing is that you will get a magic link in your email, and then you can connect from it. And I'll demo you like the Subflow AI way of doing it. So if you come over, like if I open my Claude desktop app, it's pretty simple. I go to this, connectors, and I click on add connector, and I click on this add custom connector. So once I open this, I go back to my Subflow AI and I go to the settings page. In this, there is this connect tab where there is this URL present. So I'll just copy this URL and I'll come back to my connection and I'll name it like Subflow AI MCP. And then I'll just paste this URL and I'll say add, and then it is going to open up a page. So here you can see like there are two ways. So I have to accept the terms first. So there are two ways. One is Subflow AI, or you can use the magic link. If you are a free subscriber, you will get the magic link in your email box that you can use to connect as a connector. Otherwise, like I'll click on this connect with Subflow AI, and it will go give me a code. I'll copy this code and I'll come back over here and I'll paste this code over here and click on connect, and then like connection would get established over here in a while. So it is like still working. So it is trying to connect. Soon it will say that it is connected. So now it is connected, and you can go back to click here and connectors, and down over here, you can see that Subflow AI MCP connector is now working, right? So that's pretty much it. Like that's all you have to do in order to connect to the MCP. Now my entire Substack is connected to either chat or Cowork, right? What I can do is now I can go back here and let's suppose, you know, kind of like now this I showed you is my Subflow AI calendar connected. Show me the capacity for next 7 days, right? So if I copy this prompt and I just paste it over here, let's see what it returns, right? So it is going to return, it should be able to return there is availability across like next many days, right? If I go back after 13th, like there is 14, 15, all these are empty. So it should be able to tell like it is, yes, Subflow AI is connected, your calendar is almost empty for 7 days, so 45 slots are open. So now you can start thinking of that, hey, can you just read my last post and schedule few notes one every day for the next week? Like, so I can just come here and I can, kind of narrate this prompt. Hey, can you access the last couple of published posts that I have on my Substack and generate one note a day for the next week? Do not schedule the same concept on the same day. And I want those notes to be generated one every day from each article, and only do for last two articles that I have published. So I'm just like giving it a prompt, right? You can give any type of prompt you want, right? And now I'm working in my Claude desktop app. I'm not touching Substack at all, right? So this is what it is going to do. It is going to find first what my last couple of published posts are, like the articles that I have published. It is checking the week capacity, which is it has already checked. Then it is getting that post content, and it is going to generate those notes and schedule it the way I have said it, right? So this gives you an idea of how you can start building some of the agents that are basically working. So if you define a structured prompt over here in Cowork, and then like once you run it one time, schedule for 1 week, you can pretty much just say that schedule it like as a agent to your Cowork, and it is going to do that every day or every other day that you make the schedule of, and will start basically finding whenever your calendar is getting empty, it is going to run that same prompt again. And as your articles are moving, it can basically like keep on generating the fresh content or fresh repurposed content from those articles. This is like one way of doing it, but if you are writing notes in some other way, you can pretty much do the same thing with the help of that. So this is like just one aspect of your a substacker workflow, that it's not just me who is doing it, right? I mean, many other folks are generating notes in one way or the other in a similar manner, right? They have a set pattern. They use that pattern to generate those notes. Some notes they are performing. And the best part is that you can schedule some of the slots, right? So I would generally schedule like, morning slots, evening slots, and afternoon noon slots when I'm, kind of available, or I'm kind of awake. I may have time. I would post random, random notes by typing it myself, right? So those will be your own human generated notes. But while you are sleeping or in the early hours, when you want traction, when you want content to be seen, maybe you can have this kind of an agent working for you, right? So that's how kind of it works. And behind the scenes, like you just saw, I mean, like, I don't know if you noticed, but you can see that this queue which was empty suddenly got refreshed. And if I refresh the Subflow AI over here, in fact I don't need to, but you can see that two notes from each of these articles from my last couple of articles are already in my calendar shown over here, right? So that's like one workflow, just one workflow that you can build. Similarly, if I continue, that this was like one of the ones, and I showed you how to write, edit, publish, delete notes. You can just ask to delete, it will delete. You can, if you think that you have to be in the loop and it never publishes without your permission, you write the prompt in that way, right? So howsoever or I mean, I'm just demoing it. It's not the way that I would create. I have like a set defined pattern in my Cloud Code system that does this job. But the idea is that you have that control now with your AI tool or AI harness, whatever you are using right now. If it is able to connect to MCP, you can build these kinds of agents or workflows in order to automate some of these tasks, right? Uh, Again, this aspect is for the planning. So I showed you planning plus writing, scheduling, editing, all can be done by a single agent or a single workflow now, right? Uh, Again, turn one post into months of notes. Similar way, you can repurpose the notes. The other part I would I really like is that, for example, table of contents. This was one of the things that I feel that the feature that I developed, only this part returned me the entire time it required to develop this whole Substack MCP. Because I had, like I'm saying, I have like about 100 odd posts now. If I have to go back and edit all those articles and add the table of contents in them, it's a nightmare, right? It's not a job that you want to do. It's a manual grunt work that you have to do if you have to add the table of contents, right? So simple thing what you can do over here is that, let's suppose if I go ahead, uh, let me go back, add and build a table of contents. For this, let me show you what the existing article is, right? So let's go back and see what my post is, like this one, let's suppose, right? So this one, if I see, there is a table of content in this one already. And let me see this one, if there is one. So no, so this one does not have a table of content, right? So what I'll do is I'll just say, hey, this is my post that I had posted. I want table of content to be generated. So now I want table of content to be generated for one of these articles of mine. Can you first see whether the table of content is there or not, and then generate table of content just above the first heading that is there?
I
You can see that it's trying to build the table of contents, and it is trying to see whether this article belongs to me or not. It is going to figure it out, and then it is going to help me add table of content over here. Just imagine, like, if you have to add table of content to all your posts, I would say that you can just run an cowork agent, Claude cowork agent, that would, let's suppose you say that, hey, pick up 2 or 3 or 5 articles at max, I would recommend every day, and see whether the table of content is there or not, and add that table of contents into the article itself, right? And that's like a person job that you would hand over to your VA in old days, so that they can figure out, right, manually. Now, with the help of AI, you are able to create this kind of a simple workflow right through your Claude or ChatGPT, uh, in order to do all this kind of manual work, right? And you can now use that time and energy to basically think about what build I should share with my audience, or what AI system I should share with my audience next week, right? So you are getting that kind of time back, right? So you can see that it is saying that no table of content exists. Want me to go ahead and save this as a draft? And if so, I should be able to push it live as well. So I can just say that, hey, go ahead and publish the TOC live. You have my approval. So it is kind of smart enough to tell you that, hey, I'm going to touch a production article which is already published. Do It is seeking your approval first, right? So you can just say that, save it as a draft, I'll review and then I'll approve. Or you can just say that, hey, go ahead and approve it. Go ahead and just ship it live, right, into the live article. So I just give it a go ahead. That go ahead and edit the draft, add the table of contents, and publish the article itself. So that's like a thing that now you can start thinking of automating at your end. And a few users who have started using it, right? I'll talk about Lee. She was able to create different categories, like different sections on the on her Substack, and was able to move and reorganize all the content she had into different sections, right? So that's another cool workflow that you can basically create. So the more you can think of organizing stuff that you have been keeping it on backlog, you can just try to brainstorm with Claude and see, with all this Substack connect or Substack MCP connected to your Claude, what all it can do for you, right? So now here it is saying that it is updated. So let me refresh this and see. So you can see that it has updated the table of content right over there. So all the table of content is kind of added. So that's another way of looking at it. I also have like I'll just talk about that. I have like an agent that basically goes, like, I have a workflow which I run every day, which checks a particular folder in my system, that if there is an image there, let me try to show you what the folder is, right? So basically, I get these feedback on my YouTube channel, the comments. Some of them are motivation for me or inspiration. Some of them are like testimonials kind of stuff. You are all adding that kind of social proof, and you want to, like, share it with the other audience as well, and develop that social proof. You are hitting some milestones. You want to, like, go ahead and publish that as well. So we all use that social proof in order to just solidify that, yes, I mean, there, it's not just I'm speaking about my expertise, rather other people are talking about. So you want to automate that kind of stuff. So what I do is, like, I just drop those screenshots in one folder, and then there is an agent that basically scans through that folder, and it sees there is a new image, new kind of feedback, testimonial, or like new milestone. Let's suppose I crossed 8,000 subscribers on YouTube, or 2000 become like a bestseller on Substack. So I'll just take a screenshot of it, I'll put it over there, and it is going to basically, like, if I just show you over here, so this inbox, I have to drop the images in this one, and that agent just scans through it, and if it is like available, it just creates a content out of it automatically, like, because your Claude or ChatGPT, they all have vision, so they will read the contents of the image, they will make something out of it, and they will create a social proof post and post it. So like, for example, this one, or this kind of comment, so all this will get posted get scheduled as notes that you would be scheduling yourself, right? If I have to thank like my audience, then I have to write it from my heart. Definitely I'll go ahead and write it from my heart and post it. But it's up to you, right? What kind of image that you are posting in this inbox. If you do not want that heartfelt message to be put into this inbox, then don't put it, then you write it yourself. But at least rest of the stuff that you keep on getting, you can automate this kind of workflow. So this is another workflow um, that I kind of automated, and now it's like one off task that generally the Substack growth gurus recommend, that you should keep posting your social proof. It's off my plate now, right? It is to an extent automated. I'm not saying 100% automated, because I would still try to thank or write a heartfelt note from myself, like as human, to my audience. But I would say that other comments that I'm getting as feedback, I would definitely want to automate that. Again, it's up to you. Just giving you an idea of like what can do, what it cannot do. Right? We just saw that it just not limited to notes. It is also, you can edit your drafts, you can create your drafts, you can, and if you have a pipeline already creating the drafts for you, and then there is a reviewer that is reviewing, and you are reviewing it, and then you want to publish it, instead of copy pasting from your local file into Substack, you have the authority, or you have the capability now to basically just connect your Claude or ChatGPT or Claude Code, whatever AI system you have, so that it can post it directly into your Substack as a draft, and create that nodes and draft article directly over there. Uh, Last part I would recommend is, or second last, I would say, is that let's suppose I need to understand what is working for me and what is not. So this is like all the analytics that exist in Subflow AI. It is kind of exposed. So I can just say that compare all my published posts, tell me the three best ones by open rate, and what they have in common, so that I can write more type of that content, right? So I can paste this something like this, and so this. So now you can think that because all the analytics is now available to you, all the subscriber intelligence, like the entire CRM about your subscriber is available to you, right? When they joined, when they last communicated with you, you can start thinking about having some maybe like first touch automated, but then like if somebody replies, you can go ahead and start talking to them, right? That's how like you can leverage this kind of a system. uh, you can also think about that, hey, what kind of things are working for me in the past. So every 2 weeks, generate a report and send it to my email, so that I can review that and we can work towards it, right? So these kinds of things you can start basically exploring, because now you have the entire analytics being fed to your AI, and AI can help you. Like, you can just write a simple question that, hey, I don't know what's going on with my Substack, it seems nothing is working. I mean, that's what I did, like when I first joined it. Tell me the immediate steps that I have to taken with priority. It figured out itself, right? It ran for a few minutes. It came back with data that, hey, I'm seeing this, I'm seeing that, this is how you have been doing for the past 3 months. This is how it has been, kind of declining or rising. These things are help you rising, these things are help you decline, so don't do this, don't do that. So this kind of thing, I mean, for example, when I have like my own story attached to an article, it performs better than like other articles. So I would basically try to have like how I automate or bulk schedule Substack notes. I stopped opening Substack. So these kinds of things are performing better for me, right? Instead of the other articles that I write. So I need to focus on um, publishing more of build in public kind of stuff rather than like learning. Like I have like a prompt engineering course, I have MCP masterclass, Claude Code course. None of those articles are performing that ways the way my build articles get performed. So that's something that you can think about and act on it, right? And the last thing I want to show is it can also help you keep up to date with the what's going on with your replies. People are replying to your comments. Somebody is mentioning you. You can do it something like, okay, I want to see which comments are worth, um, replying, right? And tell me what those are and the links of it so that you can open them and reply. Because Substack does not provide you an easy way to filter those kind of. I would say like only the. I think there is this replies and mentions, but then there are so many of them that you don't know which one to go, and you have to ultimately read all of it yourself, right? So that's something that you can do. So for example, I can see that show me my recent replies and mentions. So if I just enter over here, so it will go back and fetch those inbox details as well for you. And you can start scraping this data as well and store it on your system locally so that you can do some sort of an analysis on that later on. But yeah, I mean, like you can see that now it just showed me that window mentioned me, Toxay replied on this, AI build guide replied on a note about usage limits. So I can just go ahead and see like, okay, which one I have to go and reply. And even I can just say that, hey, go and like that, right? So this is something that also can be worked out. So these are some of the workflows. I'm just giving you an idea all that you can build when you have any type of system leverage.
I thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. You all have a good day.